Also, will it have a manual gearbox? That should be quite cool if it does, just to add a little bit more engagement and involvement. Please keep the manual going. Save the manuals, as my t-shirt says. Oh, another video. Let's get into this one. So, hi there guys, Sam here. Welcome back to another video. You join me once again in the Golf R on this amazing Saturday morning. You know, it's so nice. It's the best time of the year for me, really, and yeah, I just love it. Low sun, clear blue skies, couldn't ask for any more. And today I wanted to talk a little bit around this new sort of about 1 million reviews have kind of come out, or sort of like press releases, around this BMW 128ti as a rival to the Golf GTI, the Mk8, which I go on about quite a bit on this channel as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit around that, share my thoughts and get your opinion too in the comments. So yeah, I'll get straight into this video really. So yes, welcome back to another video. Yeah, I'm trying to do a few more in the Golf R. I think it's just nice to, yeah, kind of spend a little bit more time of it, not commuting to work and stuff, you know, not using it as much. But yeah, went on a drive recently this week, and it's been faultless for me. No issues with the battery anymore, with that sort of conking out. So that's been really good, and really loving the car overall, to be honest. So yeah, figured I'd do some videos in the car. Now, I wanted to talk about this 128ti, this BMW 1 Series, and something that I'm almost certainly no one would have heard of, certainly over a week ago. It's something that I've never heard of before, and it's something that's actually really, really intriguing and worth talking about, particularly with like car enthusiasts such as myself and you guys on the channel, or you know, whoever is watching. Now, the Golf GTI, obviously since the 70s, it's been that pinnacle hot hatch, everyone's default, everyone knows it, you don't even have to think about it. It's got the history, it's got what, how old is that now? So what, where it was mid to late 70s, it kind of hit the road. So you're looking at a good like 40 years plus of Golf GTI-ness, probably coming up to 45 years actually soon. And that car has been fantastic, and it's had the same sort of package of a decent amount of power, front wheel drive, family hot hatch, simple as that. Now, a lot of other manufacturers tried to make rivals, but they've never really hit the mark. Like the Focus ST in current, I'm talking about current era as well, has always tried to do more power and undercut it a little bit on price, but it's just not really got the quality, unfortunately, that the VW has. And there's never really been any other rivals to it, because I look across the board and it's like manufacturers are really missing a gap. They're really missing something, because you've got the likes of the previous generation A45 was a decent car. The model before that was an A250, and they never really advertised it that well, and it wasn't that great as a result. But it had a fair bit, you know, it had 250 brake horsepower, it was front wheel drive, it had the same sort of recipe and philosophy. They've now since rebranded that to call the A35, up the power a little bit, and it's been a success. Surprise, surprise. BMW before have obviously been rear wheel drive. That's how they've worked, you know, the driver's car. And this is the first time they've done a front wheel drive sort of competing hot hatch, and that is the 128ti. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of specs around it. It's about 261 brake horsepower. It's, funny enough, it's a detuned engine of the M135i, which is the X-Drive version. More of a competition to the Golf R, like the car that I'm sitting in. Exact same philosophy. They take the engine from the bigger car, they detune it. It's just saves so much in costs and manufacturing. You have no idea how much it saves. And yeah, it's certainly something which everyone's doing. It's becoming a bit samey. It's becoming a bit boring, to be honest with you, because they're all going to be the same. But hopefully it's a different type of philosophy, because BMWs have always been known to me as being like the driver's car. Everyone goes for it, everyone talks about it, everyone bangs on about it. But for me personally, and I've driven decent BMWs, you know. I've driven like I drove the old M140. You know, it was great, but I felt it was a bit more comfortable, a bit more of a GT cruiser. I didn't really notice that rear wheel drive too much. Couldn't really go that fast on the UK roads to kind of enjoy it. And I've actually driven an M2 competition on track, a new one, and albeit only a few laps. And I didn't really like it, you know. I just felt it was a bit rolly and it wasn't as hunkered down as I'd like. Maybe that's just me. And maybe it's from my sort of way of coming from the first rear-wheel drive cars I started driving on track was like a Ferrari F430, and then I was driving like an Aston Martin. And then I spent so much time driving Porsches, as you know, on this channel, like Caymans, see the 911. And particularly going on like the Caymans, they're so hunkered down, fantastic rear-wheel drive cars. Helps the fact that it's mid-engined. And they're in a completely different league to the likes of BMWs or other hot hatches with rear-wheel drive, which I think, to be fair, is only really going to be BMW. Completely different league. It's like, it's not even in the same sort of area in how they drive. The only thing that I see the BMW having a better chance over it is sometimes price, although not too much, and a bit of practicality. But if you want a sports car, do you really care about having an extra couple of seats? Probably not. So yeah, that's where I'm seeing from. So as a pure driver's car, I would always go for a pure driver's car, if that makes sense. And just from my personal experience. So this 128ti, I really do think, because, you know, I put screenshots and stuff as obviously as I'm talking of what the car looks like, the kind of sort of prototype images of it. But also, if you type in BMW 128ti in like Google News or something, every single car magazine from most of Europe has done something on this car. And it's obviously BMW have sort of gone and said, let's get this car out there because we don't have the history. This is a brand new thing for us. We've never done front wheel drive hot hatches properly or ever. I think the current one series that's out with a decent petrol engine probably doesn't have more than, what, 180, 190 brake horsepower, something like that. And obviously there is a bigger family car, so you can't really compare it to like a Fiesta ST or something like that. So it's not really anything to shout about. This is the first one to shout about. And I always do wary about how important sort of press releases, car journalists, YouTubers talk about cars, because it's what really makes it sell, particularly in this world where you can't go physically anywhere anymore, because, you know, we're probably moments away from a second lockdown in the UK, sadly, here on, 19th of September's day. But yeah, I just find it interesting. Can it compete with the Mk8 GTI? That's what the whole question is. My short answer is no, it can't, because it doesn't have the years behind it. It hasn't built up that knowledge about it. If this was my first ever video, I'd probably get about 2 or 3 views. This is not my first ever video. I've been going a couple of years, which means I get more views. It's just the exact same philosophy with everything you do. It's got the history. It's got nearly 45 years under its belt of being successful in pretty much every generation. They had a little bit of a wobble in the noughties, but then they sort of sorted it out again. The Mark 7 was awesome. The Mark 8 is going to be good. And even if it's not, people will still buy it because it's got a GTI badge on it. The GTI is more desirable than an R. And that kind of says it all. The R is supposedly better, faster, the top of the range. But yeah, as I've said before in other videos, price-wise, they're very similar on the used market because people know what they like. They're like, what the hell's an R? No one's got a clue. People on this channel do, because you guys are owners and stuff. And actually, I put something up on my community yesterday because someone messaged me on Instagram saying they'd recently purchased their Mark 7 Golf R, 7.5 Golf R. Really nice grey, sort of the new one, not limestone grey, I think it's Indian grey. Black Pretz, really great. And thanked me for keeping him entertained during during lockdown and bits like that on the channel. So that's really, really cool. So thank you for that. I thought I'd plug that into this video. As it is a community channel, that's what I like. And that's why I kind of like talking to you. I'm not getting like any pressure from sort of like any press or manufacturers to please do these videos. This is just from me talking to you guys. And that's what I like doing. So, no, it's not going to be this huge car. And that's probably why they have pushed it so much to the car press world. Because they know they're going to have to. 128ti, does it have a ring to it? TI, I suppose. Like GTI. I mean, come on. I mean, are they joking? Like, what sort of names are that? They couldn't be more trying to copy the VW friends in Germany. Plus sides to the car. if you compare it in its own market to the 135i, it's lighter. It's like 80 kilos lighter because it doesn't have the four-wheel drive system. They've tried to make it a bit more sporty, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just the same old crap that kind of gets said. Drive it, see what you think. If you prefer the BMW badge, you're probably going to really like it. And it's nice to have something a bit more unique from your normal stuff. No one's really going to have this car or know too much about it. I like that. That's why I like the R. Once everyone has it, I know there are a lot on the road, but once everyone really knows about it, it suddenly becomes less desirable. So cool car, glad that they're making it. The more rivals out there, the better the competition. That's just how it works. The GTI has never, for me, had any competition. Audi, obviously in the same group, they focus on Quattro. They're not going to go down a really powerful front-wheel drive car, ever. The Quattro is their name, particularly from rallying, if you don't know, from like the 80s and stuff like that. They just dominated it. Built a Quattro system, destroyed all the other front-wheel drive cars and rear-wheel drive cars or whatever to the nth degree. BMW, the other German rivals, obviously haven't, because they were previously rear-wheel drive. Mercedes had never really kind of massively got their act together in the hot hatch, well, in the hatchback kind of world. They've only recently came into it, for me, since the A45 in 2013, and that's obviously four-wheel drive, not front-wheel drive, and etc. And even the A35 still four-wheel drive, so they haven't really got a competition there. And then you've got likes of Ford with the Focus ST, like I've mentioned previously before. Great following here in the UK. I don't think it's as big as in the rest of Europe, but certainly wouldn't have as many car sales at all. So there you go. Let me know what you think about this 128ti BMW. Not something that I talk about much on this channel because it's generally VAG related content, Porsche content and fast forward content, because that's what I kind of like and what you guys kind of like. But I always like to talk about the competition. I think it's good. See what it's like. Will people get it? I think people will get into it, but it will take time. It will take 40 years. I mean, we're 2020 now. Bear in mind, 45 years away is 2065. I mean, that is a long way away. A scarily long time away, but that's how long it's going to take to match the GTI, and it's going to have to be a success in every single iteration as well. Also, will it have a manual gearbox? That should be quite cool if it does, just to add a little bit more engagement and involvement. Please keep the manual going. Save the manuals, as my t-shirt says. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Thanks so much for watching. Please drop a comment on what you think about the 128ti. Will it match the Mk8 Golf GTI? And, you know, could it even try to step on the toes of a bigger hot hatch, like a Golf R, for example? But thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, wherever you are. And yeah, subscribe, like, share. It really does help this channel. It's coming along fantastically, and I thank you so much for that. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.